भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात
Andariki Namaskaram, Vanakkam. My warm greetings to Honorable Chairman, Legislative Council, Honorable Speaker, Legislative Assembly, and Honorable Members of the State Legislature. After continuous and relentless struggle for 6 decades, the Telangana society could able to achieve a separate statehood. The Telangana state achieved wonderful progress in several sectors and became number 1 state in the country within a short span of time. This is something I am sure we all should rejoice and feel proud of. The advantage for Telangana state is that the leader who led the separate statehood movement himself became the chief minister of the newly formed state and leading it from front and getting marched towards the path of progress and development. The Telangana society, which was destroyed in all the sectors during the United Andhra Pradesh rule, now under the visionary and dynamic leadership of Chief Minister Sri Kalvakundala Chandrasekhar Rao, has been moving forward with perfect planning, sincerity and commitment ever since he took over the reins of state 6 years ago. I have no doubt that this forward movement is yielding good results now. If we make a comparison of the situation that existed when Telangana state was formed and now the delightful achievements and success the state achieved in such a short span of time is being observed with admiration by the entire country. Situation that prevailed during the formation of the state. If we recollect the sordid conditions that prevailed as on 2nd June 2014, when the Telangana state was formed, there were dire straits in all the sectors. In the initial days, the Telangana state faced severe power crisis and was reeling under severe regular power cuts. There was no minimum security for the lives of the poor and their livelihood. Suicides, starvation deaths, migration were become an order of the day. The meager rupees 200 per month pension given to the poor was not able to meet even their basic needs. The entire farm sector was pushed into a crisis. The situation was so pathetic that thousands of farmers who were in despair and distress used to commit suicides. Farmers used to suffer due to non-supply of quality seed, fertilizers and pesticides on time, and problem was more severe with sale and supply of spurious seeds, adulterated fertilizers and fake pesticides. Farmers had to struggle a lot to get investment to cultivate their crops. The situation was so grave that farmers used to raise private loans at an exorbitant interest rates. Owing to non-completion of the irrigation projects, there was no availability of water for agriculture. Farmers' future was bleak. Groundwater table dipped acutely due to large-scale destruction of tanks under the United Andhra Pradesh rule. The situation was so grim that even if a borewell was drilled up to 600 feet, 700 feet, or even to 800 feet, there were no traces of water. Since power supply was hardly available even for 4 to 5 hours in a day, crops used to wither away. Even if some manages to get some produce, it would never get a proper support price in the market. With all these problems prevailing in the farm sector in Telangana, agriculture was regarded as a loss-making and waste profession. The allied trades and professions of the agriculture sector were also collapsed in the state, and people from these professionals often forced to migrate. This scenario is still fresh in our memories. The entire rural economy was disturbed, unorganized, and uncertain future, and beyond redemption with the collapse of both agriculture and its allied professions. The drinking water problem was severe and unbearable in Telangana society prior to the formation of the state. Health and education sectors were also collapsed. The situation was so bad that the poor had to borrow heavily and sell their belongings to get the deliveries done in the private and corporate hospitals. There were playing cards clubs in every basti, in cities and towns, and number of illicit liquor selling points in every village. Law and order was not under control. There was an onslaught of Telangana literature, culture, traditions, and arts. No importance was given to Telangana temples and festivals. Under these trials and tribulations, on 2nd June 2014, the Telangana state started its journey under the foresighted leader who successfully spearheaded the separate statehood movement under the stewardship of Chief Minister Sri K. Chandrasekhar Rao. My government, after taking into consideration its resources, facilities, needs, advantages, disadvantages, strengths, and weaknesses, had prepared short-term, mid-term, long-term plans for the overall development of the state, and thus launched state's revitalization and rejuvenation process. Social welfare. In order to provide minimum security of livelihoods to the poor, my government had given top priority to welfare sector with lot of concern on humanitarian considerations. The welfare program are being designed and implemented with utmost humanitarian perspective by the Telangana government to give security to the lives and livelihood of the poor. To bring more number of poor people under the umbrella of below poverty line, the BPL, the maximum income limit has been increased from rupees 60,000 to 1,50,000 in rural areas, and in urban areas it was increased from 75,000 to 2 lakh rupees. Within this, even those working in the government and private companies with lesser salaries are able to derive benefits from the welfare schemes. With the amount of rupees 2016 per month given as Asara pension, the poor are able to live happily without depending on anyone. My government has increased pension for pensioners with disability from rupees 500 to 3016. Though there are lakhs of BD workers in the country, the pension are given to BD workers at rupees 2016 per month in Telangana state only. Similarly, for the first time in the country, single women, persons suffering with filaria are also given Asara pensions. Let me share a happy news with you all that my government has also decided to reduce the age limit for the old age pension from 65 years to 57 years. Very soon, all the eligible persons who attain the age of 57 years will be given Asara pension in the state. Under Kalyana Lakshmi, Shadi Mubarak schemes, my government is giving 1,116 rupees towards expenses for the eligible girls' marriage. Earlier, though through fair price shops, ration shops, only 4 kgs rice was given per person with a ceiling. Now, 6 kgs of rice per person is given without ceiling on number of persons in the household at the rate of rupees 1 per kg. In the government schools, hostels, students are served meal with fine rice. My government is running 959 residential schools with the highest standards of teaching. This is not being done anywhere in the country so far. KCR Kids schemes is being implemented to encourage safe and institutional deliveries in the government hospitals. My government has abolished transport tax on the tractors used by the farmers and autos run by the youth for self-employment. A special development fund was created for the development and progress of the SC, ST sections. Allocations were made in the state budget in the proportion to their population ratio. To revive, revitalize, and to strengthen the rural economy, my government gave the required financial stimulus to the hereditary professionals and artisans. Sheep were distributed on large scale for the Golla, Kuruma communities at 75% subsidy. Fishermen were given rights to fishing in reservoirs in the state, and my government has distributed free fish seedlings and dropped them into the reservoirs. Tax on palm trees is abolished. By purchasing cloth, uniforms, and saris from the handloom weavers, my government has created market for their products. The input cost came down for the weavers as the government is giving 50% subsidy on the yarn, chemicals and colors. My government is giving financial assistance to the Nai Brahmins and the washermen to set up modern saloons, purchase modern machines, washing machines respectively. My government had set up the most backward classes corporation for the benefit of nomads and most backward classes. My government had allotted sites in Hyderabad to several BC communities to construct their respective community homes to uphold their self-respect. For the Telangana martyrs, my government gave rupees 10 lakh ex gratia amount and 1 job for each family. My government is extending rupees 6 lakh financial help to the families of farmers who have committed suicide. Rupees 6 lakh ex gratia amount is being paid to the families of toddy tappers, fishermen who lost their lives due to accidents. Rupees 5 lakh compensation is being given to families of the persons who lost their lives in natural calamities such as heavy rains, floods, etc. Rupees 6 lakh to the families of the persons who died during the lightning. My government has extended rupees 2 lakh per person who were dependent on illicit liquor trade earlier and now switched to alternate employment. Nutritious meal is given to pregnant women, women in postnatal period and babies at Anganwadi centers under Arogya Lakshmi scheme. My government regularized up to 125 square yards of land occupied by the poor free of cost for their dwelling units. Pattas were distributed to 1.25 lakh persons under regularization scheme as per GO number 58. Rupees 5 lakh insurance scheme is being implemented by my government for drivers, home guards, working journalists, and government is paying the premium for this scheme. A special fund is created for welfare of lawyers and journalists. Brahmin Sakshema Parishad was formed for the welfare of poor Brahmins. Priests in the temples were given salaries regularly on par with the government employees under Duba Diba Naivediyam scheme. Imams and Muezzins who conduct prayers in masjids were given rupees 500 per month as allowance. What's that? Was given 5,000 per month as allowance. My government is given financial assistance to the poor youth with 100% subsidy up to 50,000 without any linkage from the banks with 80% subsidy for the loans up to 1 lakh, with 70% subsidy for the loans up to 2 lakhs, and with 60% subsidy for the loans up to 5 lakh for providing self-employment. Power up to 101 units is given free of cost to SCs and STs. My government had waived rupees 70 crore worth power dues of STs under the domestic category. All the power-related vigilance cases registered against the tribes were withdrawn. Hairdressing salons are supplied power under domestic category. My government is giving scholarship up to 20 lakh each to SC, ST, BC and minority students to pursue higher education abroad under the names of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Mahatma Jyotirao Phule. My government hiked the salaries of home guards, Anganwadi teachers, helpers, ASHA workers, IKP, Narega employees, 108 staff, 104 staff, contract and outsourcing employees, VRAs, VAOs, contract lecturers, CRTs and Archakas apart from increasing the commission of ration dealers. 33% reservation provided in the police department for women. The highest remuneration in the country is being paid to the home guards serving in the state. Traffic police are paid 30% risk allowance. The compensation paid for the police who were martyred while on duty is increased manifold. My government released 28% of profits to the Singaneri workers as bonus. The retirement age for RTC employees has been increased to 60 years. Services of 22,667 artisans working in electricity organizations have been regularized by my government. In the welfare sector, Telangana state stands first among all other states in the country. It is a good augury that the poor in the state are moving forward to future with lot of hope and confidence. Successes in power sector. My government acted swiftly and strategically to overcome the crisis prevailing in the power sector. As a result, Telangana state registered spectacular and unprecedented accomplishment in power sector. Today, Telangana has become the state that utilizes highest per capita power in the country. The peak demand in the United Andhra Pradesh stood at 13,162 megawatts, where as in Telangana, it crossed that figure and the demand reached an all-time high of 13,168 megawatts. In spite of all-time high demand, power supply was supplied without any interruption, and this itself an evidentiary tall proof of our glorious success in power sector. Now, uninterrupted quality power is supplied 24/7 hours for all sectors in the state. I feel proud to declare that Telangana state is one and the only state in the country which is supplying free 24/7 high quality power to its farm sector. The installed capacity at the time of formation of the state was only 7,778 megawatts, whereas the installed capacity now in the state is 16,246 megawatts. Construction of new power plants in the fast track to make Telangana a power surplus state. Progress in agriculture sector. Majority of the people in the state are dependent on agriculture. Owing to the negligent, indifferent attitude and lack of policy of the erstwhile rulers, the farm sector was nudged into terrible crisis. My government made every step forward with proper planning to pull up the farm sector from the crisis and instill confidence and hope among the farmers. My government is supplying quality seeds, fertilizers and pesticides on time to the farmers as per their requirements. Stringent action is being taken under the Preventive Detention Act, PD Act, against those indulging in supply of spurious seeds, adulterated fertilizers, and fake pesticides. Within 24 hours, with 24-hour uninterrupted power supply, farmers are able to bring their entire land under cultivation and deriving high crop yielding. Irrigation sector construction of projects. My government, with an aim to provide water for irrigation to 1 crore acres, prepared and implementing a comprehensive irrigation plan. Water is supplied to 20 lakh acres of the Ayakat by completing the pending projects. Tanks are revived under Mission Kakatiya program. Due to this, the groundwater levels have been raised enormously. The world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation project, Kalishwaram, is under stage-wise completion. The fast-track works that are going on there are visible to all. The work of the Kalishwaram project shall be completed in toto shortly. Works are going on fast track to lift 3 TMC of water per day from Godavari to Kalishwaram from the ensuing monsoon season. Works on Palamur Rangareddy project are on fast track. Sammakka barrage works aimed at supplying water to Devadula for 365 days and are also on fast track. My government is making all-out efforts to complete works on this barrage in this summer itself. My government has sanctioned Sitama Sagar barrage with about 40 TMC capacity, which is capable of producing 320 megawatts idle power and also supply water to Sitarama project in the existing place in the present Dummukudam Anikat. I am happily announcing that the works on this barrage will commence shortly. The ample proof that the Telangana irrigation sector has progressed extremely well in the marvelous achievement in the increased acreage of the paddy cultivation in the summer crop. In the normal course, the paddy crop area growing during the summer season in Telangana is 17,08,397 acres. Owing to the progress made in the irrigation sector during this summer season, the paddy crop was grown in 38,19,419 acres as recorded by Agriculture Department. 123.5% increase in the paddy cultivation is the symbol of success in irrigation sector. Raitu Bandhu for investment support. The Raitu Bandhu scheme conceived and implemented in Telangana is now being replicated in several states as it has been progressive turning point that changes the destiny of farmers. Now, through Raitu Bandhu, my government is giving 10,000 per acre per year in 2 installments as investment support. The scheme has now become a role model not only for the entire country but also to the entire world. The greatest appreciation for Raitu Bandhu scheme came from the United Nations, which declared it as one of the major schemes being implemented for the development of agriculture in the world. This is really a moment of pride for us. Raitu Bima. The government introduced Raitu Bima scheme, which is not in existence in any other state in the country. Under this scheme, if a farmer dies for any reason, my government is paying rupees 5 lakh to the family within 10 days. To strengthen the agriculture department, my government appointed one extension officer for every 5,000 acres of land. Construction of Raitu Vedikas is under process all over the state. Raitu Bandhu Samitis. My government has decided registered the present Raitu Samanvaya Samitis as Raitu Bandhu Samitis. My government is firmly determined to organize the farmers into a united and strong force. The Raitu Bandhu Samitis would play a key role right from the time of sowing seed to getting supportive price to the agricultural products. Let me share with you that my government will soon chalk out an action plan in this regard. Mission Bhagirath effective solution to the drinking water problem. I am proud to announce that my government has solved the decades-old problem of drinking water once for all in the state within the short period. Though Mission Bhagirath program through Mission Bhagirath program, safe and pure drinking water is being supplied to every habitation on daily basis. 11 states have undertaken study of Mission Bhagirath to replicate in their own states. Niti Aayog had not only appreciated our state but also advised other states to replicate Mission Bhagirath scheme. Public health. In Telangana, the public health scenario has improved significantly. My government arranged the necessary medical equipment, medicines, and latest technology in the government hospitals. Budget for procuring medicines has been increased threefold. Necessary medicines are given free of cost to the poor. Before the state formation, there was not even a single dialysis unit or intensive care unit or a standardized labor room or an ambulance to bring pregnant women or a vehicle to transport the dead bodies in any of the government hospitals. My government now created 40 dialysis units, 20 ICUs, 305 standardized labor rooms in the government hospitals, 200 Amma Vodi vehicles to bring pregnant women to the hospitals, and 50 Paramapada vehicles to transport the dead bodies are also provided. All these endeavors are provided to be very beneficial to the poor. Before the state's formation, not even one primary health center was up to the national quality of accredited standards. But now there are 84 PHCs of the SQAS level, state quality accreditation standards. Our state stood first in this category in the entire country. In the past, there were only 22 newborn care centers in existence, and my government decided to increase them to 42. Already, 6 newborn care centers have begun functioning, and another 14 will be launched soon. In the past, there were only 5 government medical colleges, and my government had started 4 more, and thus increasing the government medical colleges strength to 9. There is steep increase in the number of institutional deliveries in the government hospitals due to the KCR kits. Proper care is being given to both mother and the newborn. At the time of formation of the state, the maternal mortality rate was 92 deaths per lakh. This has come down to 76 now. Similarly, the infant mortality, which was 39 per thousand, has come down to 29 per thousand now. The percentage of institutional deliveries in the government hospitals has been increased by 22%. In the past, only 68% of the population was vaccinated, whereas now the state registered 96% immunization and stood first in the country. There is 20% increase in inpatient rate in the government hospitals. My government achieved a new record by conducting a biggest eye screening drive under Kanti Velugu program. Though Kanti Velugu program, eye screening tests were conducted on 1.54 crore people. 41 lakh people were given free spectacles and medicines free of cost. My government has decided to conduct ENT screening tests on the lines of Kanti Velugu by organizing camps. After conducting all the tests, the Telangana state health profile will be prepared. My government will shortly announce an action plan in this regard. The Basti Davakanas run by the government in Hyderabad proved to be very useful for the urban poor. My government has decided to increase number of Basti Davakanas in the areas where majority of people are from SC, ST, minorities and poor to provide better medical and health services. My government has decided to open at least 2 Basti Davakanas in every division in Hyderabad city, and the number will be increased if the poor are more in the area. Thus, my government has decided to set up 350 Basti Davakanas in the Hyderabad and to give free treatment and medicines to the poor. It is an inspiring movement for us that our state is one among the best 3 states which are offering better quality medical facilities in the country. Administrative reform. Undertaken administrative reforms in a big way scientifically. 10 districts in the state were increased to 33. 43 revenue divisions were increased to 73. 459 mandals were increased to 590. 50 became 128. Municipal corporations increased from 6 to 13 and thus making 141 urban local bodies in the state. Gram Panchayats were increased from 8,690 to 12,751. The entire police department is administration and monitoring. There were only 2 police commissionerates in the state before the formation of the Telangana state. My government had set up 7 more to increase the number to 9. Police subdivisions were increased from 139 to 164. Police circles from 688 to 719 and the police stations from 712 to 815. To protect the rights of local citizens in the newly formed districts, my government created a new zonal system. My government made an act making 95% reservations in jobs for the locals. My government brought in an act to cadre, zonal cadre, new acts. My government had brought new urban policy and new rural policy to increase the accountability among the public representatives and to activate the local bodies. My government enacted new Municipalities Act and new Panchayat Raj Act. My government is moving forward to convert the villages and towns in Telangana as model villages and model towns in the country. The results of Palle Pragati program with the slogan that let us develop our own village, conducted in 2 phases, are before us. There are 12,751 village panchayats, out of which 3,146 are purely for ST areas in Telangana state. Owing to the Palle Pragati program, every village panchayat in Telangana now owns a tractor and maintains a nursery which are not existing elsewhere in the country. In every village, care has been taken to have a dump yard and a burial ground. My government accorded more responsibilities and powers to the collectors with a view that villages have to be improved by undertaking more progressive programs. The powers hitherto with the ministers were curtailed and given to the collectors. Pattana Pragati program with an objective to convert Telangana towns as model towns in the country was organized till 4th of this month. In addition to clean and green activities, plans for systematic growth of towns were formulated in the Pattana Pragati program. My government released funds to tune of rupees 339 crores per month to villages and 148 crores per month to urban areas. The new Revenue Act is being contemplated, which will not give any scope for corruption and red tape. My government is getting ready with a new land administration and management policy in Telangana. Industrial growth. The measures taken by the government to make Telangana as the ideal destination and paradise for the investment have been yielding good results. The TSI pass, the single window policy, which accords all the required permissions for the industry within 15 days, had already won accolades across the world. This is encouraging more industries to come to the state. So far, 12,427 industries have got permission under this TSI pass policy. With this, the state got 2.4 lakh crore worth investments. 14 lakh additional employment has been generated. Success in IT sector. Telangana state became a force to reckon as far as information technology sector is concerned. World's renowned companies are coming with investments to establish their IT companies in Telangana. The IT exports were rupees 57,000 crores in 2013 and 14. They were increased to 1.09 lakh crore in 2018 and 19. During the last year, the average growth rate in IT exports in the country was 8.9% on an average, whereas in Telangana, it was 16.89%. This itself proves the rapid strides the state made in the IT sector. The efforts put in by the government to spread the IT sector in other 2 tier cities and towns in the state by creating proper infrastructure facilities are also yielding good results. Double bedroom houses. Construction and allotment of double bedroom houses with 100% government expenditure is only happening in Telangana state. Under this scheme, my government so far sanctioned 2,72,763 houses. Construction of double bedroom houses is progressing with full swing. Law and order is under control. My government is of the firm opinion that if the law and order situation is under the control, there will be peace and harmony in the citizens' life, and progress can be achieved without any hindrances. Hence, my government gave top priority to strengthen the police department. Besides revamping the police department to suit to the present day needs, my government allocated funds for the department to the scale which was never happened in the past. For the maintenance of law and order, 6 lakh CC cameras in the state were installed. This accounts for 66% CC cameras in the country. The command control center, which is being constructed with international standards, will be launched shortly. The Telangana police have taken up special drive for women's safety. She teams are actively functioning in Hyderabad and elsewhere in the state and have been providing safety for the women. Ganga, Jamuna, Tahzeeb and Telangana. Telangana is known for its Ganga, Jamuna, Tahzeeb. Telangana state is the symbol of communal harmony. People from all faiths are living here peacefully with harmony for centuries together. Let me declare here that my government is fully committed to uphold the unity among its people and to protect the secular fabric of the state. My government will respect every religion and celebrate all festivals. My government will act sternly against those who are trying to create communal tensions and suppress the attempts with an iron hand. Economic situation. The severe economic challenges in the country for the past several months had an impact on Telangana state also. Yet, due to strong administrative policies and fiscal discipline, the state was able to withstand the situation. The blink in the blind is that while other states are showing negative economic growth, Telangana is able to stick its neck out. My government has decided to pursue fiscal discipline due to prevailing economic scenario in the country. My government, however, will fulfill all its promises made to the people. All the programs and schemes will be continued and search for new avenues will be undertaken to better our revenue resources. With this positive attitude, my government will move forward. The government will be in tune with the needs of the people, duly striking a healthy balance between welfare and development. This is the precise reason why the people have been continuously supporting my government time and again in all democratic methods. My government will keep up the immense faith reposed by the public and move forward, keeping in view the needs of the people and the circumstances they may crop up time to time. Urupasiyum, Ova Piniyum, Serupagayum, Seradu Yelvadu Nadu. That is Tirukural, which means hunger free, disease free, enmity free country. The state is the best state. Jai Hind, Jai